Section 1. A river divided, the dam that remade a region. The sun beats down on the Blue Nile. Western Highlands. Water churns a deep, muddy brown, carrying rich soil from the mountains. This river is the lifeblood for millions. It flows north, crossing borders, feeding nations. A narrow ribbon of green sustains entire economies. But now, something massive stands in its way. A wall of concrete and steel rises from the riverbed. It is the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD, a source of great hope and of profound fear. This conflict is not just about a dam, it is about survival and the future of an entire region. Section 2. Egypt's lifeline, a fear as old as the pharaohs. Herodotus called Egypt the gift of the Nile. It remains true today, a mostly desert nation whose cities and farms exist because of one river. Drinking water, sanitation, industry, farming. Over 97% of Egypt's fresh water comes from the Nile. A reduction in flow is an existential threat for more than 110 million people. What happens if several years of low rainfall hit the Ethiopian highlands while Ethiopia is filling the massive reservoir? Officials worry Ethiopia will prioritize filling over downstream releases during drought. A rapid fill could jeopardize harvests and strain an already scarce supply. Leaders say all options are on the table. The stakes could not be higher. The Nile is identity and destiny. The idea of an upstream hand on the tap is deeply unsettling. Section 3. Ethiopia's dream, power for a rising nation. For Ethiopia, the GERD is the cornerstone of development, sovereignty, and a brighter future. More than 60 million people lack electricity, limiting growth, education, and healthcare. The GERD is designed to change this, generating thousands of megawatts of clean energy, powering homes and schools, powering factories, a pathway out of poverty, financed primarily at home, bonds bought by citizens and the diaspora, forging collective ownership, a declaration of self-reliance, challenging narratives of famine and poverty, a nation on the rise, executing one of Africa's most ambitious projects. Leaders argue for equitable and reasonable use without causing significant harm. Ethiopia aims to export electricity to Sudan, Djibouti, and Kenya, generating revenue and integration. An engine for industrialization, investment, jobs, a necessity for a young population. At the heart of the dispute is a legal and historical vacuum. Colonial-era agreements shape the Nile, agreements Ethiopia rejects. In 1929, Egypt gained veto power over upstream projects. In 1959, all flow was allocated to Egypt and Sudan. Ethiopia, party to neither, sees these as relics benefiting downstream powers. Officials argue the treaties ignored the source country's rights and needs. They insist on modern international law, equitable and reasonable utilization for all basin states. Core dispute: no legally binding deal on filling an operation, especially during droughts. Egypt and Sudan seek clear annual release guarantees. Ethiopia resists permanent constraints, preferring adaptable guidelines. Sudan's interests are mixed. Benefits include flood regulation and cheap electricity. But safety and operating rules matter. Positions shift, complicating a three-way deal. The current situation is one of tense stability. Ethiopia has filled stages of the reservoir and begun generating power, celebrating historic milestones. These moves, without a final agreement, escalated diplomatic tensions. International actors urge a return to talks. In U.S.-led mediation, the Trump administration sided with Egypt. Ethiopia insists on a fair, equitable share of the Nile. Climate change is increasing rainfall, unpredictability, and drought risk. Growing populations intensify demand on a finite river. A zero-sum mindset must yield to shared benefits. Use water more efficiently. Expand the pie for everyone. Share the GERD's electricity across a stronger regional grid. A comprehensive, legally binding agreement with transparent data sharing is essential. Clear drought management rules can mitigate downstream impacts. Joint monitoring builds trust. Ultimately, cooperation is not optional. It is survival.